If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Hey everyone, time for Puzzle Talk, the geocaching puzzle podcast brought to you by the Geocache Talk Network. And here are your hosts, Charles Watkins and Tom Brotherman. Good evening, gentlemen.
Howdy, howdy.
Oh,
Howdy.
you're supposed to.
There's no. I know. I was waiting for it. I was like,
you're supposed to say.
Oh, that one. Good evening.
Good evening.
That's right. Because by gosh, Halloween's right around the corner.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I feel bad. Poor Darren's waiting on path tags. Let me tell you, my friend. Yeah, well, I have a package here for. I won't give all the information. Let me block out some of it. But it's going to Brett Arnott. I don't know if y'all know Brett, but let's see if I can do this. Y'all don't need to know anything. So I got this for Brett, or not. I didn't get it to him. He bought some coins that I'll show you in a minute. So Cash Fest. There's Brett, and Brett lives in Western Australia. And I can't ship this because I can't even get it like in the process right now. They're like, nope, we can't even accept them. So it's like, what is the deal? I don't think this is going to carry a lot of COVID through the mail, but oh well. Hopefully, they'll shipping soon. So that's what I'm thinking is probably what's going on with Darren is they're stuck in quarantine there, my friends. So
yeah, it's rough. The shipping right now is rough.
Yeah,
you know,
it's the unshipping part that's killing them, isn't it? At least that's what's hurting us. You can't get anybody to unload the. Man.
Oh right.
I shipped a package from me to somebody outside of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks ago, and it got to them in 3 days. But I was shipping the exact same package to a person in British Columbia, just across the border, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you could probably hit it with a golf ball,
right?
You know, and it took 3.5 weeks. So,
right, 3.5 weeks. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. But it only went like another 150 miles. But it was stuck at, through customs and quarantine and whatnot going into Canada. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hopefully now with them opening the border between us and our neighbors to the north, some of
It'll be
this stuff
better.
will start to flow a little better. So
Make it a trackable goal. Trackables can find their way. That's funny. You say that. What's funny is, or funny, whatever, but there was a time many, many moons ago where we were having trouble shipping software. I worked for a company where we were trying to ship software to Africa, which is really bizarre back in the whole continent. But we had people coming through the office. We are an international company, so we had people come through the office. And so I'd always poke my head into meetings and go, sorry to interrupt, but is anybody going to, and I'd mention wherever, Nigeria, anybody raise a hand, Nigeria. And once in a while I'd find somebody like, yeah, I'm leaving like next, I'm leaving in a few days. I'm like, all right, before you leave, you got to come see me, because I would basically hand give them stuff. I mean, they could declare it, whatever, but just the fact that
right.
they had to get it into getting it into the country was a mess. So
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
No wonder those people over there are always begging for money from us.
Right, because they can't get it right. Jeff's with us tonight. Hello,
yes,
friend.
yes, our neighbor to the north.
He is our neighbor to the north. Yep. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Kelsey along for the ride tonight. Good evening from North Dakota. Now she's right there on the border too. I mean, in theory, she's a state, she's the last state before Canada. So maybe you could give them to her and she could take them over to Canada and then,
just make them meet up and toss them across the
right. Just
because there's a road on both sides of the border. You just meet up there and just toss it. There you go.
Maybe they could maybe trebuchet stuff across the border, like build a giant trebuchet and send them across that way. So
yeah.
So anyway, all right, let's do a little news. Puzzle coins. You want to start with that? We still have some, I think. Let me double check while you talk about that.
Well,
and shirts.
We've got a couple. I don't know how many Tom has. I have a couple left. But if you are quick, you can go to geocachetalk.com and click on the store tab, or you can go directly to the store at chromiaprint.com/collections/geocaching and quickly jump in and get these coins. This is a one-time. We're not going to make any more of these. Nope, we're going to do something completely different. So if you got a hold of this one run of coins, then you're in and you're good. If not, go grab one of them that are still in the store and available. Otherwise, you've got to kind of do some things to earn one. One of those things is if you buy one of the Puzzle Talk shirts in the store, on the back of it is a puzzle. And if you solve said puzzle and go to the location that the puzzle gives you, it's a real place on the ground, real place in the world. I've hidden a container that looks identical to this one that has a Puzzle Talk coin in it, and it has one of my Pathfinder 33 trackable tags. Yep. So I no lie, hid it at the place that you will discover when you solve the puzzle that's on the back of the shirt. Yep. Another thing about the shirts are going to go away here soon. Me and Tom are going to sit down probably after the holidays and come up with a new design for a Puzzle Talk shirt. And so that's going to be rolling out here, the second half of winter. So the shirts with the puzzle on it are going to be going away. So if you want a shot at solving that puzzle, then you need to get in and purchase one of the shirts. And if you're worried about being able to solve that puzzle, you need to watch last week's show, because in last week's show, I shared the puzzle
inspiration,
cache,
I guess,
the inspiration for this puzzle. And and talked to the cache owner of that cache when I did it, and asked him if it would be okay if I took his idea and ran with it. And he was like, absolutely. So I took it and ran with it. In that, he gives you more hints on his cache page and in his cache description than what I have given you guys. So, go listen to last week's show, figure out which cache that is, look at the show notes, go and visit that cache, try to solve that cache. And once you've solved it, then you have all of the skills and know-how in which to solve the puzzle on the back of the shirt. And last time we drove past the location for the hiding spot for all of this stuff, it was still there. So
Cool.
we haven't been in a hot minute, but I could swing by and check on it, next time we're out and about, and probably would not be probably has not gone anywhere. That building that I hid it at has been there for well over 80 years, and probably is not going to go anywhere.
So, from what I've heard, you've given out 2 more clues tonight.
I heard. You heard those as well, didn't you? I did too.
He's
Go
going,
ahead.
what did I say?
Oh, yeah?
Well, you said it's on the ground. You may or may not have said something there, but it's probably not an LPC then. It's probably not 30 feet up in a tree or nothing like that.
No, not up in a tree, and it's definitely not a lamppost cache.
And you
There you
said
go.
you could swing by and check on it. So that means it's within probably 12 hours of you.
It's not in Maine, right?
It's probably not
Right.
in Maine, but
Work your way back.
2 or 3 states over from where you're at now is not beyond the realm of possibility with you just swinging by, because that's
Well, he
your
says
swinging by range.
that's true.
So
well,
when I lived in Colorado, I had to drive right past this location to go to all of the Texas Challenge Cache mega events that I went to. So it puts it between any of the Texas Challenge mega events that we've had in the last year or two and my home in Western Colorado that I left last spring.
Right. Last spring, yeah. There you go.
So
There it
doesn't quite
is.
help. That doesn't quite help, because last time I went to Colorado, I went through Canada to get, and I
Well,
drove.
that's different.
I mean, we are geocachers.
Yeah.
We are geocachers.
That's true.
I give you the degrees for north and west on the shirt. So, I mean, in reality, you could narrow it down to a giant grid square on the map and say, all right, it's somewhere in
All right.
here.
Everybody line up, shoulder to shoulder, a mile apart.
Let's get
Yeah.
after it.
So
Pizza New wants to know, is it hidden at Bucky's? No, that's
There
way
is-
too.
there's not a Buc-ee's within hours of this location.
Sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately. Dire Wolf is the only person, and I checked the Geocache Talk, the Puzzle Talk podcast at gmail.com email right before this show, and I have got 0 new
Text me.
emails about that. So Dire Wolf, so far as I know, is the only person who has solved this, because we mailed him the prize bounty because he had solved it within the 1 month time frame that we put out for all that stuff. So he got a Puzzle Talk coin and one of my trackable tags. Gary sent him a coin, and I put in a year premium membership card in there. So I mean, he got a couple of good things, and Tom ate a number 4 in his honor.
Whataburger, yeah.
What a burger.
So
Somebody find it
it's-
so I could go do it again.
so that it's really there. And so if you watch last week's show, have a copy of the puzzle off the back of the shirt. There you go. That's the way to get that done. All right, so moving right along, the 7 Summits of the World promotion is going on. We are in month 3,
3.
2, 3?
No, not 2.
I believe it's
3?
3.
And now you're going to make me look. It's Mount Elbrus, which is in Russia. So it's
in
highest
Russia.
peak.
Yep.
It is the highest peak in Europe.
We did
I was corrected.
Oceania. Yep. You're correct.
Yeah, I was corrected last week when I said that it was in Antarctica, and someone was like, it's in Russia. I was like, oh, the chat room always catches me. So, you know.
Yeah.
So
we did Puncak Jaya the first month, and then we did Vincent the second month.
Right. And
now
so Elbrus, we are in month 3.
Yep.
And puzzle caches this month give you 600 points. So it's
Sweet.
a really good deal to get you a couple of these puzzle caches. And we're going to talk about some tonight that hopefully there's some in your area that are kind of different but are fun to solve. So
right.
We've got about 2 weeks left in this month's promotion for Elbrus. So get out there and get some of them and see how you're doing on the leaderboard.
Absolutely.
Worldwide Cache Fest is been published and is on the books for July 16th, 2022 in Memphis, Tennessee. Pre-event coins that Gary showed at the very beginning of the show, right?
Yep.
Are available, and they help out by getting things paid for. So consider donating to the cause, which is us.
Cache Fest. Yep.
Cache Fest that we are hosting.
Yep.
And get a few cool coins that are shaped like guitars. But it is going to be a event-packed mega event in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm hoping to get a little fatter and my pants a little tighter with some of the good food that I'm hoping to find there in the Memphis area. So you can go to cachefest.com.
Yep.
And that has all of the information on it and where you can order your pre-event coins. There they are.
There we are.
Mine are in the other room, or I'd gone and got mine.
They're pretty cool.
And then, Gary, we're going to toss it over to you so that you can talk about our event up in.
I do want to mention there's a Puzzle Academy.
Who's hosting that?
You guys, the Puzzle Boys.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Ooh.
Puzzles.
We better come up with a class.
Don't tell people that.
You
don't want to tell people that. You want to tell them you've got it all worked out right now.
And all you have to do to find our class is solve the puzzle that we're going to put out.
Yeah. No, they'll be a lot of fun. The Puzzle Academy, a lot of the academies are going to be really cool. The other ones are, I don't care if you do the others, but Puzzle one, it's going to be awesome. There's going to be several things built into those few days then that people are going to really enjoy. So, all right. We are now.
And then did you want to talk about Podcast of Hope?
Yeah, let me do that real quick. Podcast of Hope is coming up December 5th from 4 p.m. to midnight. Yes, you heard that right. 4 p.m. to midnight. And we're going to do a show soon. I'm trying to work out the final pieces. I think we've actually got the whole lineup set. We just don't have the hours set for the people that are going to be on. I did some confirmation on the last couple people. Well, the person in charge of getting those people is working on it. So as soon as we get those finalized, we'll do a show about the schedule, real short, do a show in the middle of the week probably with giving the announcement. But anyway, looking forward to actually meeting tomorrow. Me and Derek are going to meet briefly with some people that work for St. Jude. They're going to help us with some extra ideas they have for podcast and for fundraising for St. Jude. Our goal this year is going to be 10,000. So, we'll announce everything and we'll get you the links and everything. But save your pennies, and you can give them to either Neil or Jason or Craig. They're the Cash for Kids folks. But anyway, they're raising money through people. Actually, people started giving them money. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but they were just going around, like when they found coins in caches.
Yeah, spare coins in caches. They were doing a coins for kids
they are
thing where, and they were trying to get other people on board, and it's a great thing. So if you go look at Neil Moore for Cache Tales, or the Aussie geocacher who's now in New Jersey, See My Shell, and then Jason Hellmeister, who hosts the Geocaching with Hellmeister. They all three have YouTube pages. So if you go and check out some of their YouTube videos, they all have something about coins for kids on there and what they're doing with that. And all of those coins that they're picking up out of the bottoms of random geocaches, they have collected them for the whole last year. And they're going to be donating those to St. Jude's through the Coins for Kids program that they have there. And it's a great way for those guys to get out and help a phenomenal program as well.
Yeah. What's funny about that as a wrap up is that they didn't really plan this, but people are like bringing them bags of coins now because they're like, oh, here's a bag of coins. You're like, okay, we'll take them. So they've been collecting coins. So if you ever see any of those three people, make sure you give them all the coins you've got. So it'll go to St.
Could you imagine that? Be like, some of these guys, if they fly to mega events, would have to bring like an empty section of their suitcase just so they could
just for coins
put the small bucket of coins in it so they could fly it back home. That's awesome. Lord, that's funny and awesome all at the same time. So
yes, definitely do that.
Cash those coins in before you get to the airport. You imagine how much that would weigh and what it would cost.
Oh yeah, extra money in that. Yeah.
But I was thinking the same lines that they go to a mega and everybody give them that, and they got to put all the coins in the trunk and then the back end of the cars.
Well, if Southwest was flying, your bags fly free. So
that's right. Yeah.
If the plane gets off the ground.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So into tonight's show.
We haven't announced it yet, Osvox. We will though soon. Go ahead.
Wait, what's he wanted to know?
Oh, the guest for Podcast to Hope. We haven't announced it yet, so we're getting there.
All right, so tonight's show we're going to talk about jigsaw puzzles. And I saw that Dire Wolf earlier in the show was like, "Hey, I saw some of these. Is that what the show's going to be about?" Yes. So these are some really interesting and kind of out of the box thinking puzzle caches that rely on, for the most part, a third party hosting site, right? So we'll get back to that. There are several out there that offer jigsaw puzzle hosting. This is a good way to quickly make puzzles for GeoArts, and we'll show you a couple of those before we dive into some of these caches.
Cool.
So let's see. Some hosting sites do other things aside from just hosting the puzzles on them, but they also keep things like they'll keep score or keep time for who's completed it the fastest.
Oh, interesting.
They will show you how many people have completed the puzzles, even if you didn't sign in and have a username, so you can solve the puzzles anonymously as a guest. but it'll still show you how many correct people have solved your puzzles. And then the other thing that it'll do is show you how many times people have come and visited that website for that puzzle, right? So they've got a couple of other things that when you create the puzzle cache, the jigsaw puzzle, and get it hosted, they will do some other things on the backside if you, as the cache owner or puzzle creator, enable them to do so, right? So it's kind of some tracking for you on the backside. It doesn't show you anything more than how many times they were visited or whatnot, but or how many times that they were solved. But those options are there for you if you wanted them.
Sure.
But there is a huge downside to this, and me and Tom were talking about this before the show. And Tom, what is the one dramatic downside to doing a puzzle cache like this?
What I came across with the very first puzzle I tried to look at for the night. It ain't there no more.
Oh, yikes.
The hosting site is gone.
Yeah, so we found two that are still heavily used. In fact, all of the puzzles that we're going to look at tonight are one of the two variants. So the two websites that are out there are jigsawplanet.com, and the other one is jiggity.com. Both of those.
Jiggity with it. I'll see myself out.
And he's gone. But one of those two websites are the two that are used the most for hosting these types of puzzle caches. And then I did come across a bookmark list of 207 of these jigsaw puzzle style puzzle caches in Sweden, and one that happens to be just across the border in Norway. Unfortunately, the bookmark list was made long enough ago that roughly half of them have been archived.
No.
But the bookmark list is in the show notes.
Cool.
Hang on, not this one. But I wanted to share it because
Ozvox
this one
says jiggity is one used frequently down under.
Yeah. So here is the 110, 115 of them that are in Sweden. So, and the one lone wolf over here in Norway. But they're all up and down the country for the most part. So if you live in Norway and want to hop over to Sweden for some of these, or if you're living in Sweden, you've got some. There's a bookmark list that is in the show notes, but it's BM 2900 Zulu Mike, and that's the bookmark list to get to this map so that you can see and his full bookmark list has all 207 of those caches on there. But like I said, roughly half of them have been archived. And so when you map them, like I have done, only about 115 show up. So
Jeff has one. We'll get that from you, Jeff. We'll add that to the show notes. But he's got one. He's got one that says 517 now and counting. So good for you. We'll get that added so people can access that if it's public.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's up in Ontario, and they've got a huge amount of geo art and trails up there of these. So good looking out, Jeff.
Darren says that he just completed a puzzle trail, 60 jiggity jigsaws at the QOGM Cunnamulla event. Lots of jigsaw time before the event. So, and Direwolf says he created one. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll just say, and Darwell says he created a jiggity puzzle for a Find Bigfoot game. You know, Bigfoot is out there. He's real. So we'll get to that someday.
Yeah. So there is a downside to jiggity. I'll go over that towards the end of the show, but there is a shortcut for jiggity if you know what you're doing.
Okay.
So what we're going to show you tonight, Tom prepared some of these and pulled them, and I just pulled one from this geo art that I found. I've got a friend who lives in Wyoming, or half the year lives in Wyoming. He's married to a lady from Thailand and lives in Thailand half the year. And there's a huge geo art over there that he sent me a link to and said, help me with all of these. And it's like 545 of these jigsaw puzzles.
Dang.
And about a third of them a year later still have not been found, and the first to find is still up for grabs.
Wow.
On these, so outside of Bangkok. So we'll show a couple of geo arts real quick, just because this is what we're going to be looking at tonight. So this is outside of San Antonio, southwest of town, and this is a geo art that represents the Alamo.
Yep. It looks like the Alamo.
It's
the iconic look of it. There you go.
You can see how many of them that I have found and how many I haven't. I obviously owe another trip to San Antonio.
You got quite a few.
He's got more of them than I do.
Yeah, I got a couple of these a couple of years ago when I was down there for a mega event. The other one, if you scroll out far enough, and this is the ones that I found, and you scroll over here to Thailand.
Yep.
It doesn't look like a whole lot going on in Thailand. And definitely doesn't look like 545 caches worth of until you start scrolling in.
And then all of a sudden there's there's a bunch.
They all show up. So BKK is the abbreviation for the international airport there in Bangkok.
Oh, okay.
Bigfoot's been there.
Bigfoot has been
there
here.
There is a Bigfoot in Thailand. Get it? Big. Okay.
This one is the G with a circle. There's an airplane, and then this used to be a Running Man. These are all the ones that I've solved.
Right.
One day, if I ever get to Bangkok, then
they're starting to line up where the actuals are. Right.
Right. Yeah. You can start to see how these all work out in the end, but plenty of caches in which to solve. And I didn't go through and solve every one of these jiggities. I found the shortcut and used the shortcut for a lot of them. So, there you have that. So
Jeff saw the Foon because he's a fan of the Foon.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, anyhow, the first one we're going to look at tonight is called Geocache. Jana, you better get this one. So
that's the name of it. That's the whole name.
That's the name of it.
Which is kind of funny because the first cache I was going to post up tonight was put out by Jana, and it was a little different on these puzzles because when you solved it, the screen changed and the coordinates would come up. I remember right.
Chat room as well.
Yeah, so most of these
X3.
Yeah, most of these that we're going to look at tonight are usually not a very hard difficulty. If the difficulty is high, More than likely it's based on the actual hide and not so much based off of the puzzle, except for maybe the Gilligan one, because the Gilligan one is, and we'll get there.
Yep.
But the Gilligan one is,
That one took a while.
yeah. So, there we go.
Oh,
this-
interesting.
So this one is, very much that's the title of it. So we're hoping whoever Janet is, that she got this one. But as you come down here, you there's most of these don't have a real big cache description, because it usually gives you a link. We'll look at one that has a related web page up here underneath the download button that Groundspeak has taken away, but that shows that it's an older puzzle cache. But you click here. I guess I haven't tested this. Oh, it doesn't come up. Hang on.
It came up for me. Here, I can put it. Here, you want? I'll put in the private chat if you want a link on. You want to click the link. Here you go. Yeah, there you go. You found it. You got it.
There we go. So that's what you get when you click on the puzzle. And this one is all square tiles, so you don't know which piece is the edge piece and which piece isn't.
Dang.
Right. So you can move them around the deal and kind of attempt to organize them. But once you get most of these, once you get two pieces together like this,
they'll stay linked, right?
They'll stay linked. This one doesn't do that. So you just gotta.
Actually, yeah, this one. Actually, it does. That's a nice trick. Is that the trick you're talking about? Oh, because if you just move it around, eventually it'll stick. It's like it has sticky tiles, sort of.
Did it? Because I couldn't make it stick earlier.
Yeah, I got several of them.
But I'm going to tell you this too. Double click on one of those tiles.
Oh no! It rotates.
Oh, they rotate too. Oh wait, no. But you know what? I think if you get one right and you click once on it, it turns green. Have you noticed that?
Not yet.
Oh,
let me move some of these.
I got one
from the background.
Actually, the sticking didn't help. Darn it. Maybe.
So you can tell though that right here there are numbers on the lamppost. Right? So I don't know if I can blow this up.
Yeah, if you get a couple right, Charles, if you click once on them, click once on one of them, you'll see that it puts a green. It puts a little green line around them. See how it's red? See, that one's red. But click on one of your bottom ones, and you'll notice that when you click on the ones you solved, yeah, they'll be green. Not that one, but the next one over. Well, when you put them at the bottom, if that
okay, right. So I guess if you put them in the right spot in the puzzle, it'll lock them all in. Okay.
and it turns them green. It'll outline them in green. So,
yeah,
slick.
Yeah. So this one is one of the odd ones that's not hosted. This is hosted on his private website. So it's hosted at thefoods.us, and then his geocaching, the GC code for it. So this is a lot like Cache Sleuth, where he hosts it on his own private server.
Right.
So this is the one anomaly out of this group. But once you get all of the pieces, you can see that there are numbers on these pieces. And once you get them all lined up correctly, then you can read the north and west or south and east coordinates, depending on where you're at in the world, for what makes sense for your geographical area.
Nice.
So that's the first one that we looked at, which is called Geocache. Jana, you better get this one. So,
And she did.
She did. You confirm that?
I confirmed. She got it.
It's been confirmed.
So that one is kind of the anomaly. If you have your own web hosting abilities, then you probably can host some of these yourself off of one of these main web services.
Right.
But if not, then you're kind of linked to these. Let me see if I can.
Clever.
All right. So we're going to look at the next one on the list. This cache has been archived, though the puzzle still remains, right? The link to the puzzle still works, right? And it's funny because this cache is from 2011. It's called Zan Spook City. It's GC2QM2P for our audio listeners. And it was a 3.5/2. So let me share the cache page with us real quick, just so we can look at it. I giggle because if you look right here, the linked puzzle site has been removed from the interwebs. Sorry, folks. So at some point in time, this cache page or the puzzle page, the hosting service, must have gone down. You can see here's the related web page link up at the top, because he doesn't give you a whole lot of stuff. There's no links to anything down in the text except for Geochecker link, right? And we all know that geochecker.com is still a site that's up and running. But he does say that the puzzle site has been removed, and so it must have gone down sometime in early 2017 for some reason. But as we're fixing to share with you, it's somehow come back from the dead because
it works.
It works, and there's the puzzle.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
And this is also one of those evil ones where you can rotate the stuff.
That just doesn't sound like, hey, at least I know that this is a corner piece.
As Jeff pointed out, rotating pieces are evil.
I agree 100%.
It's a corner piece, but you know what? I know that one's in the wrong spot.
But you don't know which corner. Dang. Oh, I hate that. Well, you can figure it. Yeah. It looks like a sky, maybe, right? So maybe it's in the top.
It's one of two. So if you hold that and scroll your mouse, it'll rotate it.
Oh.
Wow. Dang. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
Wow.
If you go to the
look, now I got the pieces linked.
Yeah, I like the Jiggity ones. Jiggity does that, right?
Jiggity does do that as well.
Yeah.
If you go to the bottom left of the screen where it looks like an image thing, that'll show you what the picture's supposed to look like.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. At least it's like you have the puzzle box to go with it. So
I can handle that.
Darren's right. That's next level evil.
Yeah.
Especially with that many pieces.
Yeah, definitely take that into consideration if you're if you're making one of these and you want to be just a evil person, so, and then usually once you get some of these have it to where there aren't coordinates written on the puzzle pieces that you have to do like the last one was. This one, once you complete the puzzle, will pop up the coordinates and say, congratulations, here's the coordinates. Or they'll give you the code word that you need to put into Geochecker to get the correct coordinates, right? So you
That
don't
makes
always
sense.
have to get coordinates out of stuff. Sometimes the keyword or the code word is what that is. And Direwolf says he likes the ghost option. So the ghost option does that where it'll put the picture in the background. So then you can kind of
cool.
Then you can take your pieces and kind of say, oh well, this one's gonna go there and whatnot.
Now,
You sit there and look and say this one goes right there.
Is there a trick to getting the ghost option, or is there an
so
it just has an option
down here
for it?
down here in the bottom left hand corner there's this
okay.
The second icon in gives you looks like a little ghost,
Okay,
a little smiley face.
Gotcha. That's good to know. Good to know it's down there.
Yeah. So and this is on jigsawplanet.com. So know that Jiggity is going to be slightly different, but usually some of these have the same features along them and whatnot. So there's
I like that option too, to not give out the coordinates until they complete. I have a puzzle cache in town where you have to finish. You've done it, Charles, where you have to run through the maze in a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you have to start over. And when you finish it, it gives you a code word. Then you take the code word, you go into Certitude, and you put in the code word, and then it'll spit out the coordinates at that point. The nice thing about that, Charles, and everybody listening, and Tom, as you guys know, the nice thing about that is that if you make changes, you don't have to change the puzzle because you didn't put out. Like if I have to move the puzzle, like if I have to move the cache, to another location, that's fine because I can give you new coordinates. I can use the same puzzle.
Oh,
because the puzzle's puzzle's not tied to the coordinates.
Right.
Whereas
the puzzle's tied to a code word. You just got to change your Certitude or Geocheck or whatever third-party verification stuff you're using.
Right.
But whereas as you can see down here, there is a timer ticking, and Lighthouse is the one who's got it in the fastest in 12 minutes and 59 seconds.
Right.
On this one, right?
Yeah.
So that's some of those options.
Yeah. If you were to paint it in a sense, if you were to paint the coordinates into the puzzle, you're kind of locked in because then it'd be kind of a pain to go back and try to change all that. I mean, you can, but I think it's better to do it the way that, like most of these, right, Charles? Most of these, when you complete them, that's when you get the coordinates. They're not going to be not like the first one. The first one, he actually has them on there.
Right. And so really all you got to do is solve a section of the puzzle. There are a couple others that I looked at that are in that Sweden bookmark list that are the same way, but the coordinates are across the entire image, which is funny because if you do this and you blow this up and you did this to where it's 100%, you can then read the coordinates without ever having to solve the puzzle.
Oh, right.
So there, again, pluses and minuses to doing them different ways. So there is that. thing that's there for you. So little quirks to each one of them. The jiggities will usually give you a little pop-up window that says, "Congratulations, the final coordinates are this," and it's right on the jiggity web page, and you just copy and paste it from there.
Right.
I haven't solved one of these that's on Jigsaw Planet before, so we'd have to ask Tom. Does it get it? At least on this one, based off of the cache page, it's going to give you a code word or a code phrase that you then have to put in Geocache to get the correct coordinates for it.
I think this gave coordinates, if I remember right. But it's been a while. The X-an of this thing was 10th anniversary of the first event ever.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Which, for those who want the trivia, that was held in Austin, Texas.
Yep. First ever geocaching event. Well, official. With an
Yeah.
icon.
Unnamed event. All right, so moving on to the next one. This is going to show some of the variability in being able to do these. This is the cache page for one of the Alamo caches that is a jigsaw puzzle. Notice that the difficulty in this is a 4.5.
Ooh.
And so this is GC6YA45 for our audio listeners. It is number 4, remember the Alamo. And it is a 4.5 difficulty, a 2 terrain. And then if you look at this, the attributes play a role in some of these geocaches. So it's not available 24 hours a day. There are dangerous animals nearby. There are ticks. There are poisonous plants and thorny plants, all near where this one is at. So this GeoArt, tells you that it's not going to be your run-of-the-mill hide. And then when you look at this isn't the this is a puzzle, but you can't move anything, right? So you've got to find right here.
Ooh.
So there's the link to the jigsaw puzzle. And again, it's on a third-party hosting site. But then the cache owner gives you a little bit about this. There are 158 caches in the GeoArt. Hides vary. They're different shapes and sizes. So don't get stuck on like all of the caches need to be a certain type of cache, because they're not in her series. Most of them, a good number of them, were up trees or up telephone poles or highway signs on the side of a road that were at the very top of a stop sign pole, but the stop sign was 10 feet off the ground, so you needed a ladder or somebody who could climb, or a vehicle that you could back up to it and stand on. There was some of them were in and around culverts that went underneath the road, so there was a huge variability in all of these caches. But
I just resolved that puzzle. It took me 1:45.
Well, good for you, man.
But
I like it.
Actually,
I like it has the satisfying click to it when you get a piece and when you put a piece in place, it goes click.
Yes. So this one, when you get this done, obviously is going to give you some type of QR code.
Right.
right?
Yes.
So
You got to solve this one now. I gave you a time limit. You got to beat a minute 45.
I got to start
I'm
over
not-
because I was just trying to figure out how the pieces worked. Click, click, click. I like how you can move more than one piece at a time. If you have like a bunch of clutter, if you like if you like hold down, like just to show people real quick, Charles, like make a box around a grouping of them. Don't like click on one of them. Yeah, now stop. Now let go. Now move the whole group. So that's kind of cool. No big deal, but
Well,
I
there's
mean,
also a thing on there, that set of squares next to the ghost. That'll
yeah,
arrange and disarrange the pieces. It'll move them around a bit
disarranged.
for you. It'll move them around a bit for you.
Yep, I like that. It's a good word. But in case you need to move a clutter of them or a grouping of them, you can. Once
I
you
didn't know there was going to be a test on
exactly
at the office today, Tom.
Well, I didn't either, but
it happens.
Pop quiz.
Pop quiz, hot shot. Yay, he finished it.
All right, 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
That's not bad.
So, it's ballpark. But then you get to scan these QR codes, and it gives you whatever the QR codes give you.
That is clever.
So
it's like a puzzle
again,
within a
in this
puzzle.
one, right? And so this is some of the fun parts about some of these is the variability to them is you're not linked to just giving code words or giving coordinates. You can give a QR code for north and a QR code for your northerlies and your easterlies, right?
Cool.
So
yeah,
you
could
again,
add a
this
layer.
one is and this one is again hosted on Jigsaw Planet, which means that in order to solve this, you have to have a smartphone.
Oh. Yep.
So just another thing that adds to some of the complexity of that. Yeah, or a friend that has one. Or in the case like me, you just go along with people who've already solved all the puzzles and you just sign your name to the ones that you found.
Pizza Ninja wants to know if you can create one that's a circle to make a pizza. I'm sure you can.
I'm sure you could. I have not tested the backside of this of actually creating one, only the solving portion of it. So,
right.
No lie, I have no idea.
But interesting. I like the idea. Circle puzzle.
All right, so we're gonna.
Yeah.
So there were several in the show notes, and we're gonna leave them there. There are several in the show notes that are a part of the Remember the Alamo GeoArt. That's the only one that we're gonna look at because in reality, the rest of them are gonna be similar and along the same lines. They're all hosted on the same server. They're web hosting site, and so we're going to get into a couple of these that run off of the Jiggity site, so that we can share a couple of those. But know that there are some more in the show notes, along with we're going to put the bookmark list that Jeff gave us and whatnot into the show notes, so that there will be some other resources in the show notes for those who want them. But we're going to jump down to what is Gilligan's 3-hour puzzle.
I just want to add, though, on that Alamo one, not all of them are as simple as the one we just did. Some of them have a lot more pieces.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah. Darwolf says he's got a path tag puzzle on Jiggity. That's cool. Very nice.
All right, so let's share this one. This one is GC8Y4H1 and is owned by my buddy Dave, Smile
Cool.
Makers up in Wyoming. This is
yeah.
a terrain. This is a terrain 5.
But he's not here.
And because I know Dave and I know where he hid this one, is hidden on an island out in the middle of a lake.
Well, perfect, because it's Gilligan.
And so if you wait a little bit, that lake freezes over and they drive pickup trucks out onto it so they can go ice fishing. So the ice gets to be like 1.5 feet thick, and you can actually drive an 18-wheeler across the lake. So you can actually just park in the parking lot and walk to the cache, because the lake freezes over in the wintertime. So come the end of January, beginning of February, you will walk to this cache, and the terrain is about a 1.5, as long as you're dressed for it.
Yeah.
So he had some help in creating this. JNLA.
Oh,
yeah, you look at that puzzle. Right?
There's a lot. It is a 3-hour puzzle. It's a 3-hour tour. Well, actually,
yeah.
Gilligan and crew. It was supposed to be a 3-hour tour. It turned into more than that.
So this puzzle is 468 pieces. We'll look at the puzzle here in just a second. But JNLA, they are cachers out of Nebraska. They helped him with some of this and the HTML coding so that he could get the link and the photo and everything on his cache page. He's worked really well with them to get some puzzles that he wants placed but doesn't know how to create them. So he's reached out to some cachers that have helped him in that department. But here's the link to the puzzle. You click on the Gilligan's puzzle, and it brings up, let me stop sharing this one and share the actual puzzle. Ta-da, there you go. So here's your puzzle. And
it took a while.
Did it?
Did you do it?
Yeah.
You did it all?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It took you a while, huh? So this is the website that has a cheater button on it. And if you look over here in the upper right-hand corner, you see this little heart button that's just at the corner of our puzzle logo. But so you have a download image button, and then right next to it you have I have a heart button. Well, if you hover over this heart button, it says solve. And I have put in a plugin that helps, that you just hit this button.
And it's
right.
Now,
so now it solved it into chunks for me.
Right.
And all I have to do is line up the chunks. Right.
And
isn't that slick? That's slick, isn't it?
It is slick. Is it up at the top? I didn't see it up the top.
It's right above the S in Gilligan's.
Oh, really?
I don't know how much of this can you guys see of us sharing the. Can you see the sidebar over to the side with the timer that's clicking?
Yeah. I see the show minimize clock, sound help, exit.
Right.
Okay.
So if you go all the way up to the top of this sidebar, there's a button with a heart.
I don't have
on yours. I don't have that.
Oh, do y'all not see that?
No.
So you can't see what my screen shows. So it's right above the. Do you see the the picture of what the puzzle's supposed to look like?
Yeah.
Right. So right above the lady in red up here, there is at least on mine, there's a heart.
Yeah. I don't have a heart.
Yep. So
I do have a heart, but I don't have
well,
a heart on the screen.
right. And so
I have a
when
plus
you,
minus. I have a zoom in, zoom out, and I've got an enter full screen and an exit.
right. So to the left of where the plus sign would be
Right.
on
That's
mine is where that heart is.
ah
But it's because I've installed a plugin on
right.
a Chrome plugin to solve these.
Gotcha.
And so when you come in, and so this is how I solve some of these. So I don't know what took you so long with your puzzle, Tom, but
I
I
did
mean,
cheat. That's what.
I mean, I don't know if it's called cheating if I'm using all of my available resources. Is it still cheating?
That's what I think it's what Direwolf said earlier on. Let me find it. Where was it? He had a good comment or funny comment. Here it is. Direwolf said this. It's almost like cheating, but like a wise man told me once, if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
Ta-da! And so then so this, if you sit there and see, do you see the pop-up that popped up in the middle of the screen?
Yeah.
So it says, oops, my friend, it appears you're trying to cut corners. You're not allowed to use any third-party applications to avoid solving puzzles on Jiggity. Please note that further use of any unauthorized applications may result in lasting restrictions.
Oh, interesting.
So there is some drawback to these third-party applications that'll help you solve the puzzle. But it is there, and I haven't updated it, so I'm sure if I went in and updated it to the current version, that
might say,
just like anything else, people are making workarounds for some of this stuff. I have an old version of the Chrome plugin, so that's probably why it caught it. So at any rate, just so you know, it's out there.
Yep. There are what's the old saying about the they have radar detectors, and then they have detectors of the radar detectors. And
yes,
they keep going up, and we have newer technology. Oh yeah, so do we. We have newer technology. We have better detectors. No, we have better detectors now.
So I solved that puzzle in 4 minutes and like 40 seconds. The leaderboard for the person who has completed it the fastest traditionally was 1 hour and 23 minutes.
Dang, it was probably Tom.
No.
Come on.
I don't know why I'm not on that leaderboard. I don't know why, but I solved it.
It says
you have to be logged in.
I think that's one of the things that it allows you to sign in and do it if you wanted to.
Right.
You can still do it anonymously if you wanted to. So, but that was the Gilligan's 3-hour puzzle and the Jiggity website.
Right. Clever.
So
we'll look at 2 more of these real quick tonight.
Cool.
This one is going to be GC45MN0. It's called Jigsaw Puzzle Cache. Let me share my screen real quick. Right. So hey, it's almost like when you go and look at the oldest geocache in each state, and you notice that there's a geocache called Geocache and a geocache called Geocache. And so
exactly,
yeah.
Hey, Jigsaw Puzzle Cache.
So this is a premium member cache. This one is from 2013. You can see the related web page link up here at the top, which is how you get to the puzzle. You sit here and read all of this stuff and whatnot. There is a hint. You'll need to complete the puzzle to find the cache. It's literally this time. So, looks like it's been found 105 times. So, and it's down near Zimmerman. So,
not too bad.
But this one, you click on the related web link and it pops up Jiggity again.
Right.
And as soon as you touch the first piece, the timer starts going. So this one is 130 pieces. But if you look at this picture of it over here,
there's some confusing colors in there.
There's some confusing colors, but they're all numbers that are all laid on top of each other. So you can make out a 4, a 5, a 3, but they're all different fonts and angles, and none of them line up the same and whatnot. So again, you can click the heart button.
If you have one.
If you have one, it's going to give me the same naughty email message that tells me that I'm using an inappropriate third-party software to solve them, and shame on me and whatnot. So just know that if you go down that rabbit hole, it's going to do that to you. But we'll do this so that we can look at the puzzle in the end. Let's see, that doesn't go there. That's going to go there.
So far, I've been working on this now. I have not had to rotate a single piece, so.
Yeah, most people are not evil cache hiders like you and make rotating puzzle pieces, Tom.
I wouldn't do that.
And there.
Ta-da.
So as you look, there's a 45 here, and a 4, and a 3 down here, and an 8 turned sideways right here in green. There's a W and an N. So probably if you looked at north 3, 9, and then the rest of these numbers and whatnot, and then
got to be tough for the colorblind people.
Yeah, if you're red, green, colorblind, you're in for a day with
trouble.
This.
Stop it out.
Direwolf's asking if Jiggity doesn't do rotating pieces. Do they? I don't know.
I don't know. I have never run into one that does rotating pieces.
It doesn't look like it does.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't until I got to the other ones that were on the jigsawplanet.com. Those ones, it looked like had rotating pieces or the ability to rotate.
Right.
It does not, as far as I know, the Jiggity does not have the ability to rotate. Right. So, and then we'll share the last one for this evening. This one is one from the Bangkok, Thailand area. It is called Running Man Geo Art number 1. We'll share my screen. Let me scroll down because I actually have this one solved, and I have solved coordinates on it. Make sure. There's
Running Man.
I'm just gonna show it. If you live in Bangkok, then you get a free puzzle cache right here. because trying to blow this up big enough to where it hides all of my notes and everything is too much. But you'll get 1 out of the 148 for this geo art right here. It was published in 6/27 of 2020. I think the last part of this geo art series that this guy created was published in September of 2020. So he spent a good couple of months building all of these puzzles and whatnot. When you click on the question mark, the picture of the puzzle cache icon takes you to the Jiggity website for it. And when you look at it,
there aren't too many pieces either. So I mean, I don't think it's something you're really not sharing a whole. I mean, it's not like this one just doesn't have as many pieces for sure.
Right. It's got 91 pieces.
Not too bad.
You know, so it's not ridiculous.
Right.
Going through it pretty quick, so
you know,
yeah,
and whatnot. So it's you can see over here it has a picture of Bangkok and says stop over and whatnot. So it's a nice little puzzle. I enjoy doing these with my little heart button. When I did on,
I'm sure you did with a heart button. Dang.
You know. So
you're just utilizing your. It's not cheating. You're just utilizing the tools you have found.
Hey, Tom is the one that always told us that Google would be your friend, and
right.
If you haven't figured out how to use it, you will by the end of all of this.
Google extension could be your friend.
That's a Chrome extension could help you out.
You never
know. These are along the same lines. You make your puzzle look like your picture over here to the side, and whatnot. And then for these, when you get to the end of it, where mine popped up the little naughty message that told me, we noticed that you're using a third party service. It in lieu of that, it would tell you, congratulations, the coordinates are this, right? And then you just copy and paste them from the puzzle page back over into the original cache page and save it there. So this is the two web services that are the most used for that we looked at tonight, the jigsawplanet.com and the Jiggity. You can see there's an obvious downfall for the Jiggity in that you can plug in an extension that will solve them for you. I'm sure if I updated my plugin, it wouldn't give me the naughty message anymore, but it might. I'd just have to check that. But 91 pieces isn't hard. Most of the Geo Art series for these in Thailand all use the exact same puzzle. So all of the Running Man series all use the exact same puzzle. So when you went to look at it, and once you figured out how to solve it, then you knew how to solve it for the rest of them, because the puzzle creator used the exact same puzzle for every one of them. So
I'm confused then. Explain to me, if it's the same puzzle, how does he from that?
So he uses the same background image, but on each one of these, once you complete the puzzle, it pops up independent. It pops up a message that gives you coordinates for solving because each puzzle takes you to a slightly different link. He uses the same image, right? So in this case,
Yeah.
Right. So in this case, you're solving 145 puzzles that are identical.
Right.
But at
Gives
the
you a little
end
bit
of
of a
solving
benefit.
each one of them, it gives you coordinates to where the actual final is.
Right. Gives you a different message. You get
gives you a
right.
different message. Right.
Yeah. So it does help because obviously you've seen the puzzle a few times. You could probably get through them.
Yeah, which is about the 5th time that I did one is when I started looking for a Chrome extension.
Right. That's when
Because
you're
I was
like, okay,
there's gotta be
that's
an
it.
easier way.
There's gotta be an
Um,
easier way than doing it the way I'm doing it because
and
this is taking forever.
and there was.
And there was.
So,
That's funny.
They just don't like you to use it that way. So
Right.
once you get through all of this, it pops up a message that says, "Congratulations, you're a super guru and have solved the puzzle," and gives you the coordinates for where you need to go. It straight up gives you the coordinates on the pop-up screen that this puzzle produces once you've solved it.
There's no extra steps, but then again,
no extra steps.
You're doing a whole geo art, so you're trying to kind of
So once you sit there and realize that you have 145 puzzles to solve that are all this same way, you're mentally exhausted by the end of it. So
sure,
there you go.
Well, yeah, and so that, like you said, that may not. I mean, if you're creating these yourself, you kind of keep that in mind that your cache finders may get weary of doing the same one over and over again.
Right, and as I've mentioned, there are 545 of these caches in this Geo Art series that's outside of Bangkok.
Right.
And roughly 115 to 120 of them still have the first to find available.
Right.
So, if Tom got a plane ticket and some additional vacation days somehow,
don't know how he's gonna pull that off, but
I get a lot of vacation.
I know you do. How long have you been an electric water boy?
33 years.
Wow.
He's up there on that seniority totem pole.
I am up there. I get a lot of vacation and holidays and a 980 work schedule. So, yeah.
I just have one request, Tom, for you.
What's that?
Hurry
up and retire.
This winter, can you keep the power on? I would appreciate that because there were many days when I had no power, and it wasn't because of anything I did. I think it was more something.
Not me, because I was paddling that same canoe and I was not a happy camper.
They didn't leave you off the list.
I was not one of the fortunate ones. No,
we were fairly fortunate here.
They said some people would be upset, and I said, "Yeah, I'm one."
Yeah, you're one of them.
Yeah,
we got out of it pretty luckily. We didn't have the ice inside the house because it would have been cold for so many hours, so many days. So we were lucky. But let's keep the power on. Come on, Texas.
To keep the backstory so everybody will know what wimps we are. It got cold in Texas, which it doesn't normally do. It went freezing for a couple days.
Yeah, we got down.
And the gas supplies froze, and power plants went down, and we didn't have gas for plants. We didn't have gas for some people at their houses, and so it got cold and dark.
Well, it froze up the well, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but it froze up the extra didn't it freeze up the like we couldn't get any wind power because all the turbines, all for some reason in Texas, they don't have any like proper
They don't
antifreeze
have
for those.
yeah, they don't have all the de-icing stuff because who needs that down here?
Down here, well, apparently we do. And then I
Yeah.
think we had problems with the gas lines too. Became a problem too. So, oh well.
Yeah,
There you
that
go.
was the big killer right there.
Ah, yes, the joys and sometimes pitfalls of living in Texas. So,
That's right.
well, that was interesting, and I can see where, like we said earlier, you were mentioning too, Charles, that if you're into the layers, if you're a puzzle layer person and you want to create additional layers, i.e., the Waysiders and Going Cache, he loves his layering of puzzles. So this is one way you could kind of integrate in your more difficult puzzles by layering in another aspect of it. Or if you're like me, you just want to not make it that didn't make it that difficult.
Yeah.
Just use it for what it's worth. But I do like the different aspects of it. The fact that you can create a keyword when it's all said and done, or you could do something else, like you were talking about. You could have the puzzle complete, and what it spits out to you is some kind of language. You got to go figure out what the language is.
Yeah. I don't know how much in the coding on the backside of this you can tinker with, but you can definitely make it, spit out. You can make it spit out French, right?
Right.
So if
And
you're
then
doing
you
a
go from
puzzle,
there. Yep.
right? So if you're doing a puzzle in, Montana, the last place you expect to hear or read French is on a puzzle in Montana.
Sure.
So,
the only thing French in Montana are the fries.
Pretty much.
And maybe the toast.
So you can make it do whatever you want, on the backside of this. So once it pops up your message, I don't know if you could code it to where it spit out like, Klingon.
Right.
I don't see why you couldn't attempt to make it do that. But if for whatever reason it doesn't recognize that or tells you that's not a valid language, I mean, you could use Russian, Farsi,
sure,
Korean, Japanese, and see if you could make it spit out another foreign language that's at least a real language used here on the planet.
Could it, as far as you know, could you make it when you completed it? It brings up in your solution. Could it maybe spit out a website? And you could make the website.
Yeah, because
once
the completion message, once you have this all done,
right,
the completion message that it pops up is one that you've created. Right. So you can make it pretty much say whatever you want it to.
Could go to another spot, yeah.
Within some limitations, yeah. You could have it give you a web address that you then copy and paste, and when you open it up, it opens another. It goes from Jiggity to, Jigsaw Planet, and opens another jigsaw puzzle on another.
Dang.
So it's
an unpublished
possible.
One, right? Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. We just have to, and like I said, I haven't done the
pure
the due diligence on the backside of it to create. I've never created one of these, so I don't know what goes into it on the backside, and I don't know what your limitations are.
Sure,
but your limitations are only you're only limited by what your imagination can perceive. I mean, if I can write it in, Albanian, and it lets me post it in there, why couldn't you use
Sure.
Albanian?
Absolutely.
As long as it was a valid language and it was accepted in the puzzle program,
Yeah.
I don't see why that wouldn't be allowed.
Right.
But again, I haven't done any of that, so I'm speaking speculatively here. That,
Right. But potentially. Right.
I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to. Assuming.
Yeah. If someone happens to make one of these here short, in the next few days, well, before Puzzle Talk again, let us know. Send us a message and puzzletalkpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, let us know the limitations, and we'd love to come back and visit this a little bit, and say, all right, so we've had this and this, and this is this is where we're at with it, and see what new stuff we have learned from that, and if you're following the GTN 45 kind of reboot thing that Jesse and Christy are doing. One of them, if I'm not mistaken, one of them is to, either solve some puzzles or start to create some geocaches. And so this might be a good way to, if you're following their adventures for the hashtag GTN45, this may be a good way to accomplish some of that stuff for that. So, check out one of the other shows and members of the Geocache Talk Network team and see what they're doing over there to get people out and about and off of the couch and out geocaching, and partake of that adventure and share your experiences over there with them.
Yeah, they want you to solve 5 puzzles, and they also want you to hide and publish a couple caches. So there you go. And some of these maybe will fit into the fitness cache category, which is a cache that gets your heart rate up. So there you go.
Absolutely. You could definitely make some of these with the different terrain ratings fit some of those categories as well. So
yep. Awesome. You guys did great. Next time we've got another one of those 5 Tuesday months. So one of them will be a patron party. So that'll be on the 23rd week of Thanksgiving. So start off your Thanksgiving weekend or Thanksgiving holiday with us if you're a patron. The boys here will be back on the 9th and the 16th of November. And then they'll also be on the 5th, which is Podcast to Hope. Oh, by the way, did you guys know you're going to be on Podcast to Hope? So there you go.
I knew I was going to be watching. And I
knew I was at least 1 hour.
And I knew I was going to be giving money every hour because that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. But yeah, we'll. So there's 1 hour. I just we'll have. I think we're going to be doing a sort of like we do a lot of times with the patron party. We'll be playing a game together, and the audience, the thousands watching can participate as well. So. Wow, somebody gave us an angry face. What was that for?
You can't make everybody happy.
What is she mad about? Patty. Somebody named Patty was mad at us. She gave us the angry eyes. Oh well.
Oh, it's probably my fault. I'll take the heat down for it.
Maybe for the cheating part, or not cheating, creative solving.
That's right.
Maybe so. All right. Good job, guys. We are wrapped up, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks again. Send us any notes, Instagram's out there, so check out Instagram. Puzzle Talk Podcast at
Yep, on Instagram.
and send us your hate letters to puzzletalkpodcast@gmail.com, or your attaboys are also much appreciated. So
Hate mail. I don't like hate mail.
all right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.